Homer led the league in tackles with 85. The deep ball for Darius Prince, and Philadelphia's on the board first.
On the draw, this is Grayson Allen. And Allen weaving his way all the way down to the 22.
10-yard line, 5. Mayfield, Dancy, all around. Throw as far as he can throw it. Jump ball coming. Crazy stuff. Not this time.
And you want to be a wide receiver. You're going to have to take a little bit of a hit like that as Brown got him in that shoulder, but watch. Those are teeth.
Do we have a dentist on staff here?
We're back for another episode of Around the Indoor Football World. As always, we will be discussing the American Indoor Football League, the National Arena League, and also the Indoor Football League. I'm joined by Krish, as always, my trusty co-host for the show. How you doing this morning, Krish?
I'm doing good. Excited to get going.
Definitely. Well, we're nearing the time of the year where everything kind of comes down to crunch time. You know, we're going to be talking a lot about...
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
And we'll be talking a lot about the playoffs because every one of these leagues is nearing their playoff picture. The IFL is starting to shape up. They've got a few more weeks to go, but we're going to be joined by some very special guests, including our special co-host, Big Boy Sports.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing this morning?
Definitely. Well, thank you for joining us, Big Boy. We're super excited to have you back on again.
Glad to be here.
Our AIF guest for this morning, Coach Bernie Nowiertowski of the Harrisburg Stampede. How you doing this morning, Coach?
All righty. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Krish, I have a feeling you have a couple questions in mind. Would you like to kick us off today?
Yeah, Coach. So, obviously, with Cedar Rapids, not being in the league anymore, from my count, you have one regular season game. Obviously, as a coach, there's only so much you can control. But, how frustrating is that to you?
It's been an interesting last 10 days trying to figure out whether or not we were going to be traveling, not going to be traveling, picking up a game at home or not. So it's kind of been a roller coaster back and forth here in the last 8-10 days, kind of waiting to see what truly the result was going to be of the meetings that the owners were having.
No doubt. And, the AIF, they just moved their playoff format to 2 teams, meaning the 2 teams are already decided, Columbus and Corpus Christi, based on win percentage. What was your reaction to that?
When the whole talk, Cedar Rapids and possibly having them dropped off the schedule, it kind of, was in our face. We kind of knew that's what would happen. I mean, them and Corpus have not lost. We dropped 2 games to Columbus. There really wasn't. I don't really think there was any other way they really could go with that. So it was kind of expected, and I'm one of those guys who just kind of rolls with how the cards are dealt. So, we're going to continue to practice and get ready to play the 2 games we have left and, wish them luck. But it made sense. So, it is what it is.
That is kind of an interesting situation with a couple weeks to go that all the playoff teams have already been determined. But like you said, it makes sense for the way the league sits right now. So kind of had to make the best possible choice for them. But kind of steering back towards your team, I was curious. It seems to me that you guys have a pretty good following. What have you guys done off the field to kind of try and grow your fan base out there in Harrisburg?
Well, that ends up being a lot of our owner, Justin Coble. He got the word out, when he decided to bring the team back. They really, him and his staff, really hit the Harrisburg area pretty hard with social media. Every social media outlet that you can find, along with billboards, and just constantly getting the name out. So they really went after the area to let them know that we're back. Excuse me. And we did a lot of preseason appearances and things around Harrisburg with kids and schools and nonprofits. They really focused a lot of time and effort towards doing things with the nonprofit organizations of our area. So they really worked hard getting the name out. So yeah, we do have a nice following, both in person. I don't know the numbers. Our games are streamed live on PCN, which is a network in Pennsylvania that really does a lot of championship sports. And I'm not sure of our numbers there, but our attendance is nice, and the following has really come around.
Coach, how are you guys going to prepare for the Columbus Lions in 2 weeks? It's 2 weeks away. It's a big time game. Columbus is unbeaten. So what's your mindset going into that game? I know, again, it's 2 weeks out, so.
It's going to be interesting. We obviously have had this past week off. We're taking part of next week off as well. We had some players that wanted to go home and visit. I mean, they've been in Harrisburg since early March. So some of them wanted to, take some time, get home and visit family. I have everybody coming back by next Wednesday. We're going to get back on the practice field. We've actually got to re-examine where we are walking wounded wise, see who's healthy, who's not. And as far as the game goes, I mean, we'll approach it just like every other game. We'll prepare the same way we do. We'll take care of all three stages, offense, defense, special teams, and then, go there with what we got and do what we can, play the game and hope for the best.
One question I kind of wanted to follow up with is a player on your team, number 27, Todd Simmons, wide receiver, in my opinion, the most dominant player on your team. When you look at Todd Simmons, how is his character off the field? I could put that on every one of our players this year, not just Todd. The character of this entire roster is just absolutely fantastic. We have nothing but class kids on our roster. I mean, we recruit that way as well. I've said in many, many interviews over the years, I probably have given up on some major talent just because there are things in a player's background that the baggage I just don't want to deal with. So when we recruit, we really look for the character of the young man off the field as much as we look at the talent that they have on the field. So I could really say that about all of our guys, but Todd by itself, he is just an outstanding young man off the field, helps out with our kids' camps when we do them, going to schools, doing things around the town. We've had every team runs into issues during the year with their players. Something might happen at housing or something at one of the restaurants. I'm telling you, my guys are fantastic. I mean, we just don't have issues with them. They understand when they come to our organization what we expect when it comes to character,
and each one of these guys lives up to it. So I couldn't, I could be 0-6, and I would still tell you I have the greatest group of guys when it comes to their character and the things that they do off the field.
Speaking to some of those guys in that locker room with you, you've got Isaac Hurd at quarterback. How crucial has he been to your team, and how successful you've been so far?
Well, considering that in our opening game, as our starting quarterback ran onto the field and did a chest bump, came down and blew his patella out, Isaac, who was the backup at that point, within a 30-second span became the starter. And he's, embraced it, and each game he improves and gets more comfortable and has really done some great things. I mean, some of his runs and some of his passes have just been outstanding during the season. Great leader. Again, you couldn't get a more character personality. I mean, he is just, 100% through and through.
Awesome. I mean, I've always kind of been a fan of his. I know he's kind of had a position change in his background, but he's always made for a very interesting indoor football quarterback, and it seems like he's done well for you guys. Big Boy, did you have any questions for Coach?
I thought I had a question. I'm trying to think of one. I'm sorry. I had one, but I don't know what it was.
No worries. Coach, who do you guys play this weekend?
This weekend, we're off. Our next game is Columbus down there, and then we are finishing up June 1st at home against I don't want to say a local team, but a team from the area, from the Delmarva area, and that's to replace what was Cedar Rapids.
Got it.
Okay.
Chris, do you have anything for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, one thing that really surprised me about your team is the size of your defensive line. When you hit the field, you have so many great guys, Joshua Hawley, Isaac Diarra. Do you recruit based on size?
Yes, we do try to do that. It just worked out this year. We've ended up, I have a very fast defense this year. They are very fast to the ball, and we're not big. And I guess when you say big, I mean, we don't have the 6'4", 6'5" defensive ends. We've got the 6'1s, 230, 240 that are just extremely athletic and fast. We have, and that's basically our build around the whole defense. Is they're a good height, a solid weight, but very athletic and very fast. But
How important is that speed on defense in the indoor game?
Well, I think it's really important. I mean, but don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with a 6'5", 300-pounder either that can bull rush and do some of the things that bigger guys bring to the table. You have to adjust the way you do certain things, because you're going to get caught. I mean, the offensive linemen that we run against in the league, I mean, there's some big boys out there that even with speed and athletic ability, if they get their hands on you, there's a good chance they can slow you down and stop you. But it just happened this year that we ended up with a lot of speed people. But if there's anyone out there in the last 2 weeks that's 6'5" and 300 wants to play, they can gladly give me a call. I'll put a big man in my defense.
Hey, you
Coach,
heard it here first. If you're a free agent, sorry, go ahead, Coach.
Yeah,
Chris.
no problem. Coach, I have a question. So, you've been coaching for a while. You've been around the block. When you face Columbus, right? They have Marcus Brooks, D'Amico Ewing, Roman Deloge, Jermaine Fortin. Are they one of the most dynamic teams you ever coached against?
I mean, they're up there. I mean, I don't know exactly what they've done over the last couple of years. I know they were in a different league, and they've been relatively untested at times. We proved that as well when we went down the first time and played them and got our rear ends handed to us. Now, we did go down without 4 or 5 of our starters, which really hurt, both defensively and offensively. But now a couple of weeks ago when they were up at our place and to only lose by 8, they knew they were in a game, and I was very proud of the way we played. Now, that was our team that night was back to full strength. We didn't have any of the missing players that were out when we went down there. And again, as a coach, that's not an excuse for me. Whatever we went down there with is, what we play with. If you're a backup on our team and your starter is hurt, that's your chance to step up and prove what you can or can't do. So I'm certainly not throwing that out as an excuse on how we played down there because of the lack of players. You still got to come out and perform. But back in Harrisburg, when they came up, really a good game from start to finish by both teams. And they're solid all around. I mean, I have been around for a long time, and I've seen some teams that just, blow your mind when you watch how, well they play. But they're up there. They're definitely a solid team. Well coached. They're solid all over.
Coach, when you're looking at the AIF as a whole right now, who do you like to play against the most in terms of coaching? What's the best chess match for you?
You know what? I'm from the kind of the old school of thought. I want to play the best group that I can play against. I have nothing but respect for the semi-pro teams and, the guys that are getting up and going out and playing for no pay and, doing the things that they're doing. But, I want to play. I want to be the best. And, the old Ric Flair, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, if we had to play a team like Columbus every week, then so be it. All that tells me is that the league is extremely strong and there's going to be good football. So, I like to play competition. I have been involved in games that are just way, way lopsided when it comes to the score. And to be honest with you, they're not actually that much fun to be involved in. I've already been in, triple digit to 0 games where by the second quarter we were running the ball every play, and we're certainly not in a running league and still scoring. So I want to play quality competition. That's how I look at it.
I see, Coach. Did you expect the game last week to be that competitive? It was Jersey last week. Did y'all expect that game to be that competitive, or?
Yeah.
So y'all were down to y'all's third string quarterback, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was again. We got into the injury bug and lost starters, especially in key positions, and the game it wasn't quite as close as the score indicates. We played a really nice first half. I mean, the first half was no problem at all. I was not at all happy with the way we played the second half. And, we did let them back in to make the score look much closer than it was. But they did a great job. Their quarterback in the second half was dead on, ran when he should have, passed when he should have. They made plays and we didn't. And I was not happy with our group at all the second half. But, again, when you get in those dogfights, you got to find a way to win. And we did just enough to do that. But, from a coaching standpoint, it was one of the, I don't want to say the first time, but is one of those times over the years that sitting in the coach's room afterwards, it almost felt like a loss because of the way we played the second half. But, it was a W. And I think I put a post on Facebook or Instagram that night that it wasn't pretty, but a W is a W. And you know what? These leagues aren't easy to win in. So I'll take the W.
There you go. I mean, you got to take them when you can get them. That's for sure. Coach,
Yeah, sometimes they're not pretty.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it. Is there any last words you got for the Harrisburg faithful while we're still on here?
Oh, I want to thank them all for their support all season, and we're going to be done in just a few short weeks, but really the next season starts for us June 2nd. We'll already start putting together the plan, the marketing plan, and the stuff that's going to take place the very next day. Won't quite be looking for players right at that point. However, the business plan will kick in the very next day. We won't be, put it this way, we won't be dormant from June to January. We'll be as busy and doing things in the community as much as we have done during the season.
I like that. Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time on this early Saturday morning. Have a great rest of your day, and we will definitely look forward to catching your next game.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me. Have a good weekend.
Absolutely. You too. Thank you. Once again, that was the coach of the Harrisburg Stampede, Bernie Nowotowski. Great guy, obviously, joining us at 8 a.m. Eastern time. But we're about to play a quick commercial, and then we will transition to our next guest, kicker/defensive lineman Braden Ari from the Idaho Horsemen.
Follow your passion first. First. It's the most fun thing in the world. You get up in the morning excited about what you're doing. And you got to be really honest with yourself about it. And you got to sit there and ask yourself, okay, what am I truly passionate about? What do I enjoy doing?
All right, we're back, and we are back with Braden Ari. How you doing this morning, Braden?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
Doing well. It's been a little while. You've been on here a couple times before, but this time you're as a member of the National Arena League. So obviously, let's start right there. I mean, you've played in the AWFC, you've played in the CIF, and now you've played in the NAL. How does the competition compare in your mind, with the NAL versus the other leagues that you've been in prior to this?
I'd say the NAL is a lot like the CIF with competition-wise. It's definitely a step above the AWFC. You just got bigger organizations, bigger fan bases, and the recruiting process, training camp, everything's a lot different. And it's taken a lot more serious. And just some of the guys you play against, you're playing against a lot more D1 guys, former D1 guys, just insane athletes all around the league.
Absolutely. Chris, do you have any questions?
Yeah, Brandon, I have a lot of respect for you as a player. I love that you play kicker and you're very versatile. One question I did want to ask you, though, is, you being a Horseman player, the field that you play on in Idaho is quite interesting. It has a lot of holes in it, and it's kind of bumpy. Do you feel unsafe when you step on the field?
100%. I'd say maybe it looks a little bit different from the live stream, because when we play on our field, I mean, it's super flat, and I've never ever had a problem with the field.
That's good to know. Always got to ask. Big boy, do you have any questions?
Not at this time, no.
Okay,
I'm going to think of one. So
that's good. You're good, man. Don't even sweat it. So Braden, I mean, like we said, you're in the National Arena League now. You've touched on some of the differences between the AWFC and the CIF, and we're not meaning to harp on, those leagues being less professional or anything like that, because they're not. They were great opportunities, obviously. But what are those differences from those two leagues to the NAL?
Some of the differences I noticed was just like what would be the word, the professionalism, and getting to travel it used to be we could travel to like maybe Oregon, Washington, or maybe Nevada or something like that. But now we're getting to go to places like Omaha, Oklahoma was going to be a place, Colorado, Sioux City, like all those teams. And when they come here, having that talent level from the AWFC compared to the NAL, it's like really grown our fan base. They liked that we stepped it up and we were playing a lot more talent. And just operations wise, like now we're going by instead of our coach owning a league, our coach is going by rules of a different league. So that always makes it interesting.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a great point. Chris, do you have another question?
Yeah, another kicker on your team, he's a backup kicker. I don't think he's on the team anymore. Is Ryan Regis. He's a former broadcaster with the team. How much of a support has he been to you, and how's your relationship with him?
Ryan Regis is great. He's always trying to help me in any way possible to make me better. I haven't got to see him in a while. He's got a family and stuff, and life goes on when you're busy. But anytime that he's out there, he's always giving me pointers. And I've had a little bit of rough go this season, so I've been kind of missing him. He's nobody really pays attention to the kicker, so when you have another kicker out there on the field to kind of tell you what's going on with your kicking, it's nice. It helps out a lot, and he's great with it.
There you go. I'm glad to hear that. Big boy, just let me know whenever you're ready to insert a question, man. No rush, though. So obviously we're kind of closing down to the end of the season here. How do you feel about the team's performance and level, kind of a step up a little bit for you guys? How do you feel that you guys have handled that transition?
I feel like we've handled it great. A lot of people thought we were just going to be like basically one of the worst teams. They had no faith in us, like all the NEL talk or the arena talk and stuff. This was just saying that we were just playing unprofessional teams in the AWFC, and we weren't going to be professional enough, or we weren't going to be talented enough. And that's not the thing. Unfortunately, we've had cases of traveling where there are 2 away games. We haven't taken our starting quarterback due to personal obligations with him. And when you don't have your 2-year starting quarterback, the guy who won the championship, the MVP of the AWFC, or things like that, it's a lot more difficult to win a football game. But when we do have him, I feel like everything's a lot more close. We lost to Carolina by 1. We lost to Colorado by 1. It's all just comes down to whether or not we have the right guys in, and if we have the guys available.
Absolutely. Chris, do you have one?
One player I wanted to ask you on your team specifically about is Rashad Flanders. He's another versatile player. What's your relationship with him like?
Rashad's like a big brother. He always keeps everybody in line. He's always got a smile on his face. But he's always real. He's never going to tell you, he's never going to lie to you. He's never going to make you feel better about yourself if you're not doing your job. And he's been with the Horsemen since it started. So to have a guy like that, like he's been through it, he's been doing it. He's very professional. He does everything for his family. And being that multi-athlete, he's just an athlete. That's all he is. Like, he can play any position on the field. I bet he could play D-line if he really wanted to. He's just one of those guys that you put your full trust in because he's always going to deliver.
Obviously, you guys are in a bye week this week, but you have Sioux City next week, if I'm not mistaken. Have you had a chance to watch any film on Sioux City and kind of identify any weaknesses you think might show up?
I haven't gotten a chance to watch any of the Sioux City game. I've been trying to enjoy my bye week a little bit.
That's completely fair. Definitely have to enjoy the couple weeks you guys get off a year. That's for sure. Big boy, are you ready with a question?
Yeah, I am ready. Speaking of that Sioux City game in a couple weeks, oh boy, there's a guy back there that could definitely return some kicks by the name of Fred Bruno, and that's going to be a dangerous guy to kick to. So I'll definitely say study up on him. Second thing is, as far as my questions go, I just had forgive me, y'all, forgive me. I just had it in my mind, but this season so far, how has the season been so far for you personally? Like,
Personally, I'd say it's not my best season, if I'm being honest. I'm rolling through coming off a bunch of injuries. I just had a pretty big knee surgery back in October. So just making it back from things like that the mental game about it and being a kicker. I didn't know if I was going to be back to kick because of it. And coming into training camp, I didn't even do anything in training camp. I just took all the recovery time I could. And performance-wise, I'm not afraid to hold myself to a standard, but it's just I haven't been there performance-wise, and I'm still blessed to be a part of the Horsemen. I've had a few good games, and I think I'm doing enough to keep my job, but I definitely am working and trying to get better, as everybody should every day. But I'll always be real. You can always be playing better, and you always want to be better. So that's where I'm at this point right now of the season. I want to make this last push and do as much as I can to help my team make the playoffs.
Absolutely. So Big Boy touched on it just a minute ago. You're going to be facing, Frederick Bruno, one of the best kick returners in the game. When you're facing a guy like that, how do you go about approaching it? I mean, are you, squib kicking it? Are you trying to directionally kick? I mean, what do you typically like to do with guys like that?
With guys like that, I'd say like Oklahoma, they had a pretty good returner. He was a little guy, but when it comes to that, I'm very confident about on kickoffs and stuff because I'm a kicker that goes down there, and usually on kickoff you have 7 guys on the field instead of 8 because after the kicker kicks it, he's not really going to do much with your average kicker or anything like that. But I've made it known in the AWFC all the way back from high school that I'm always going to be there. And so I'm the last line of defense, so he's going to have to make it by me. But I mean, kicking wise, I'm going to kick it right to him. I don't really have a problem with it. I have full trust in my special teams, my kickoff. I have some great guys in Anthony Jacobson and Dorian Harden. They get down the field fast. I'm going to kick the ball. I will keep it in the lines, and I just trust my guys. I've seen some film on this guy and understand it, but in my book, it's Rashad Flanders is the best kick returner in the NAL. So we have the best at least, and I get to practice against him, so that makes it a little bit easier.
That's a good way to look at it. I like that outlook. So obviously, kicking in the indoor game is very difficult. You have 9 feet, I believe, in between your uprights there. So how do you kind of stay on your game when you've had a couple misses? How do you try to get yourself mentally prepared to go back out there and try to get over the hump?
Mentally, when I'm kicking, I just try to imagine outdoor posts. I would say I'm in my 3rd season of kicking, but that first season was like a shell shock. And I used to be a lot harder on myself when I'd miss one. But now I just kind of know that I have like full confidence when if I miss one, Chris or offensive coordinator and head coach, he's going to go out on the field and he's going to get the next touchdown. They're going to get a 2-point conversion and they're going to make up for it. I just trust in that. And then another thing that kind of keeps me going over the hills is teammates, you know. They're never getting down on me and stuff like that. They're always just like, hey, you got the next one and all that kinds of stuff. So that helps out a lot with the mentality of, you know, keep pushing through. I know when I was in Billings, I had a game where I missed 4 extra points in a row. And it was, you know, I'm not going to say nothing about Billings or anything like that, but just had to do with mental stuff and practice stuff. But you know, I just pushed through it and made the 5th one, and then everybody erupted. It was a little bit embarrassing, but it was pretty cool. But I think that humbled me a lot and made me just be able to push through the struggles.
Absolutely, I like that. Krish, Big Boy, do you guys have anything else for Braden? All right. Looking forward, it looks like you guys have at least one more home game, hopefully. What is it? I mean, like you talked about the increase in your support level in Idaho due to the bigger league, the better competition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how has it been this season so far with attendance for you guys?
I think it's been great. We're definitely doing more than we were in the past seasons with the AWFC, and compared to watching some other live streams from other teams, I'm not going to name them, but we definitely seems like in the NAL we have one of the better fan bases and better gathering of fans. That it's just pretty clear. The games are a lot louder. The fans are awesome. I think one of the biggest things is they just when you'd look back on comments on our old live streams from the AWFC and stuff like that, they were just tired of like the same fans would come and then they'd bring someone new, and like this is just a recurring process, but they'd say like, oh well, this kind of was just like almost felt like a fixed game because you guys just beat every team by 50 to 70 points, and they wanted to see those close games. They wanted to see those other teams come that are professional and competitive. And now that we have that, people are bringing more people, and then they're coming back to the next game. And those people are bringing people, and it just follows down like the same recurrent process. And it builds. I mean, I've seen from the first game when we played Carolina to last game when we played Colorado, we had even more people. So it's been awesome.
Awesome. Speaking of Colorado, I will see you on the 1st, my friend. We'll definitely have to get an on-field interview after the game. You know, I should be at that game. But thank you so much for your time today, man. I really appreciate you coming in, especially in a pinch. I mean, I basically reached out to you fairly last minute, and you were down to come on immediately. So I really appreciate that. You know, best of luck the rest of the way. And any final thoughts for anybody watching right now?
Tune in. Arena ball is it's awesome. It's fun to watch. It's fast paced. Go find a favorite team or a favorite player, something like that. That's all I can say for the fans, and just roll with it because arena ball is on the up, and I just hope everybody has a great day, great weekend.
Definitely. Thank you so much for your time, Braden, and I'll definitely catch you back in the future.
Thank you.
Look forward to having you on again. Okay, well, we're going to introduce another special guest host for this morning, Cody Bryant from In the Alley. How are you doing this morning, Cody?
Tired. That game for Vegas last night went a little long for my liking, and then having to recap and do all that stuff. It's an early morning, I'll say that.
Well, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Definitely appreciate you always coming on and talking a little bit of IFL with us. But we also have a very special player guest that will be joining us today, and very excited about this one because he's got an interesting story to tell, and that is Mr. Lionel McConnell. How are you doing this morning, Lionel?
He said tired. I'm right there with him. No, but pleasure to be on here, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. You know, you and I have kind of talked a little bit off camera. You came into the IFL as a wide receiver, and you transitioned to defensive back with Frisco almost immediately, from what I understand. And yet here you are after only 6 games. You have 4 interceptions and 2 kickoff return touchdowns already. I mean, to me, that's an insane transition that quickly. How have you kind of gone about that mentally to be able to flip from offense to defense so fast?
So growing up, man, I played quarterback mostly, and my team. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. I went to Linwood, and my team, Coach Parker, the head coach, put me in many different positions, many different situations to see how I react to them, just because I was an athlete. But as time went on, obviously, as high school and middle school went on, I played receiver mostly, and then I went to Allen, transferred to Allen, Texas, out here, where most people know where Kyler Murray had went to. Played at Allen High School and played receiver here also, and college played receiver also. But this year, I can't lie to you, man. I think it's just God. I mean, I have no other way to put it, to be honest. I mean, I've never played DBs. I haven't played DB since middle school. I might have played around with it, at practice with my teammates, things of that sort. But it just shows you how good of a coach that Coach Andre is. For him to see this in me, switch me to the other side of the ball, and for me to have early success like this, man, it's all credit to him, God, and just, I guess, my athletic ability and my coach Snoop, who's been giving me the tools to learn the techniques and things that I need to be successful on the field.
Absolutely. Cody, do you have any questions?
I mean, probably the biggest one right now, little insider information. Who's starting for quarterback? I mean, you don't have to tell. You don't have to tell. But
I think you're going to see at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
I got you.
We're going to be ready, whoever it is. I just know that we have to win on all phases of the ball and put the game together, right? We have to win on offense. We have to win on defense. And we have to win on special teams. But I think we're going to see them at 1 o'clock. Whoever it is, they're going to be ready for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, sir.
So you guys are firmly entrenched in the playoff picture currently at 5-1. I believe you have the best record in the East, tied with Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. So when you look at that playoff picture and you see where you're sitting right now, are there any teams in the East right now that you guys are even remotely concerned with outside of Massachusetts?
I think, and Coach says this all the time, in the locker room at halftime, and even before the games, and even during the week. If we can control, we can control, right? And we do what we're supposed to on that field, and everybody plays to their level of that they can play, and also that standard. And also, everybody say, in outdoors, do that 1/11th, because there's 11 people on the field. So in indoor, you do that 1/8, and everybody does their job. I think we can take it all the way home. And I know that, last year being my first year playing, and even years before then, I've heard that we've made it pretty far. And, people say we like the Cowboys. We make it far, but we go pretty far. We don't make it to the big game. But I think this year, if everybody does their job and play up to that standard that we know we can play, no matter who's playing, right? I think we can stay at the top and make it to Vegas. That's my goal. That's everybody else's goal on this team.
Absolutely. Big boy, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Today it's going to be a beautiful one. 1 o'clock start against the Jacksonville Sharks. How what's your mindset going into this game? Again, I was originally going to go to this one, but other commitments. Yeah,
that makes sense. My mindset going to this game, man, for this team is just like I said before. Everybody do their part. Everybody do their job. We know that we've had I guess you could say compared to last year, we've usually blown people out for the most part. A lot of these games have been a lot closer this year due to having a lot of new pieces to this team. I think we should be able to put it all together this year. I mean, for this game, put it all together for this game. Like I said, on all 3 phases of the ball, and they got some great competitors on their team also. Like I have a former teammate, DJ Stubbs. He plays for them in Jacksonville, so I'm excited for that. We both went to Liberty together. I was there for 2 years as a freshman and sophomore. Then he came in as a freshman, I believe. And he had an electrifying year while playing at Liberty and things of that sort. And had some great success playing there. But I'm excited to play against him. I'll be on defense. He'll be on offense. So it's gonna be a lot of fun smack talking going on and things of that sort. So I can't wait for that. But I know they got some dogs on their side. It's going to be a very competitive atmosphere, fun atmosphere, and yeah, may the best team win.
When you look at the remaining schedule for Frisco, are there any wide receivers in particular that you kind of point to and you're like, I want to go one-on-one with him?
That's my mindset. You know, being like Coach Coles has always said, like, you're a DB, man. Your mindset, though, you talk the way you act, you're a DB. But I don't really know too many. I know that. Do you have our schedule up there for me to see?
Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Okay. That'll help me out a little bit more. Like I said, but like for today, I must have to go against my former teammate. I know we do play Mass at home, and they got that stud, that receiver that's been in the league. T.O., I believe his name is.
Thomas Owens, yep.
That'll be. I feel like he's one of the top receivers in the league. But you know, going against my teammate Faison McClurge, who's the real deal, that helps me out with everybody, right? Going against him and seeing how he uses tempo in his routes and how he's very finesse with his routes. I feel like he's one of the top receivers in the league. No, I know he's one of the top receivers in this league, for sure. So let's see. We are here at Jacksonville. San Diego. Can't wait for that. Okay, I have a teammate named Elijah Lilly. He returned a kick last night in that game. We played at Colorado Mesa together, so I know that boy is blazing fast. So I'm ready for that one. That'll be another fun one. And oh yeah, I got that Tuscan Sugar Skulls. I got that marked on my calendar for sure. I cannot wait for that game.
There you go.
Our former coach was there, and I got a bone to pick with him for sure. So I plan on having a great game that game for sure. And other than that, man, no, I'm just keep it 1-0 every week.
There you go. I like it. Cody, you have any more questions?
That's probably just like the most basic one. What was the transition like from wide receiver to defensive back? You know, knowing that obviously they're still your teammates, like you talked about, Faison McClurge and stuff, but now you have to go up against them in practice. Like you said, iron sharpens iron. But what has that transition been like? Dare I say, do you feel like you're better at the defensive back position now than you were at the wide receiver position last year? What do you think would be? What position do you think you're thriving at?
Okay, that's a great question, man. That's a great question. What position do I think I'm thriving at? So I didn't know if it was disrespectful for him to move me over to DB. Because I'm like, man, I done played this my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I went to college for this. I done made people fall. I'm pretty nice at receiver, but I can say this. I came in it with the attitude of, let's just try it. Let's have growth at being uncomfortable, right? And let's just try this out and see how it goes. And if you're going to make mistakes, but so what? So what if I make mistakes? Like, I play freely. If I'm being honest with you, playing DB is almost more fun than playing receiver. I can't believe I just said that, but it is. Because it's almost like you see a ball, you see a play, you see a ball in the air, go make the play. Boom. And that's what I just react to. If I see the ball in the air, I like my chances over a lot of other people with playing receiver. So how that has been on the other side, right? With me playing receiver my whole life and knowing how people can stem and knowing the rocker step and knowing to do the 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, like on top of their routes to break and watch their shoulders and their heads go different ways. I can almost, in a way, not predict, but almost predict how they're going to run their routes. And it almost helped me on both sides of the ball, man. Like on offense, I wasn't always the best at coverages, right? I was pretty good, but I wasn't the best. Now, when they switched me on that side of the ball, I could tell if it's cover 2. I could tell if it's man. I could tell if it's cover 1. I could tell if it's invert. If it's invert weak now because I'm playing that position now. And I think it just helped me now at this point work for the better good of myself. You know, when I do go back to playing offense, if they need me over there. But I will say, I would say, you know, indoor and outdoor is a lot better, a lot different. I can say through my athletic ability, I'm pretty good at DB. I do like it, you know, with some. And I will say this, I don't know if I should, but I have not trained for this before the season at all, like at all. A lot of people don't know this, but I was in the middle of kind of retiring in a way. or just stopped playing just because I found another love other than football, right? Like we're football players, but we have other things and that we love doing. And for that, it's like being a financial advisor for me and helping my teammates that play in the NFL now and the NBA and just people all around the country that I know, helping my family and things of that sort, learn how to invest and things of that sort. But like I said before, man, this is nothing but like God, to be honest. Like for me to not to train at all during the off season and to have this amount of success, but I obviously been putting in the work now. Is almost crazy. It almost hasn't hit me yet. You know, before, not to talk too much, but before it was like catching a touchdown is great. Like you get a lot of people that want to come get autographs, things like this. But now it's like catching an interception is almost even better than catching a touchdown. But I want to ask you guys a question. What do you think is more elevated or more higher or more better, catching touchdowns or interceptions? Because it hasn't hit me yet that I've caught 4, but I've also had that pick against San Antonio on that special teams play when he muffed the snap and he threw it to me and I returned it. Does that not count? Because I swear I hope it would count, because that would be 5. But y'all can let me know that. But yeah, man. But no, man.
I would count that. I personally would count that. It probably counts as like a fumble recovery, though.
Okay. Because I was like, it can only be one thing. But if I had to pick, man, I love defense. Defense is fun. Like having your brothers, you holding somebody up, right? They come in and smack them, try to rip at the ball. It's like a togetherness, right? And so yeah, man, that was a great question.
Definitely. So I'm curious, like, how did that conversation about switching you to defense come about?
Well, you know, we have exit meetings as you do in college, as you do in high school, as you do in professional and NFL and other leagues. We have exit meetings, and you know, him and Coach Snoop, who's a defensive coordinator or one of the defense coordinators and the defense DB coach, they was like always a joke with me, man. We're gonna move you to DB, man. You nice to DB. So put it like this, right? During the season last year, towards the end of the season, we had some guys that was banged up, and they was like, who can play DB or who we want to see you try on that side of the ball. So I would go into practice, and I can say no names, but it's one of our top receivers, you know, that's been here, and I play man coverage. Hit me with a move, got him off the line, boom, jammed it right here, fell to the ground, and from that moment, they was like, oh crap, like this guy is somewhat decent because he could somewhat play. And that just built my confidence, you know. I'm a trainer at DFW, so I understand, and I'm an athlete, obviously, so I understand about building confidence as an athlete. For us athletes, and for anybody, particular anybody, no matter the job you have, if you have that confidence and you have that person that believes in you, you feel like you can run through this wall right here. Don't matter what, it doesn't matter. That confidence helps you excel in everything that you do. And that's what Coach Andre instilled in me. He doesn't tear me down. If I mess up or do something wrong or bust a coverage or something like that during practice or whatever, because I'm still new to the position, he lets me get through it. And that allows me to stay focused. Don't get in my head, okay, he just caught this pass. He just caught this pass. No, stay focused, man. It's okay. It's going to happen. You don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen. So conversation was pretty smooth, right? During the whole season, during the end of the season, during the summer break, right? I was like, man, they really want to switch me to DB, and like, okay, well, how's this gonna go? But you know, like I said, I enjoy being uncomfortable. Growth comes with that, and it's been nothing, you know, but a. I mean, I only been in professional, I guess, to my pro for 2 years, but it's been one hell of a season, man. One hell of a season. But that just shows you how good of a coach he is, to see that in me, and for it to work like this. So,
obviously, but I mean, you know, I'm kind of crazy how that all came about.
Yeah.
Cody, do you have any more questions?
I mean, nothing really pressing off the top of my head. I guess my biggest one is, what do you feel Frisco needs to do to get over the hump and win this championship? I think when Todd Tryon was talking to your coach, he was asking, is this year championship or bust? And he pretty much said every year's championship or bust, or something along those lines. I'm not going to put words in his mouth. Do you feel this year's championship or bust? What do you feel this team needs to do in order to win that championship?
That's a great question, man. I feel like, you know, at every level, high school, especially when you get to professionals like CFL, NFL, wherever it may be, every year is in a way championship or bust. If you think about it, like I mean, I'm sure you guys know this. Like, if your goal isn't to make it to Vegas, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? It doesn't make sense. Like, what are you playing for, right? Everybody wants to be a champion. Everybody wants to get that ring, go to Vegas, have a good time, play in front of thousands of fans. I feel like what we need to do, though, I'll give you guys a good answer. What do we need to do? I feel like we have all the pieces here. I feel like we've had all the pieces here, even in previous years. I feel like we just gotta stay disciplined, right? Stay disciplined on each side of the ball, but then also bring that togetherness of playing and being great on offense, on defense, and on special teams. If we win all three phases of the ball with our playmakers and our people on our team and our coaching staff, I don't see nobody that can beat us, right? I truly don't. So once we bring that together, right, we still have a long season ahead of us. Once we bring that together, I think that we can get the job done and make it to Vegas, and I think that this is the year that we get there. You know, I'm gonna try my best to help and do everything I can to help and do my part of getting us there for sure. And I know my teammates, TJ gonna try, obviously. Cole's gonna try one of the receivers. Coach Andre is gonna try. Spencer's gonna try. Coach Snoop is gonna try. All Charles, D. Lama, we got the players, man. We just gotta bring it all together and for it to happen. So it's gonna be an exciting rest of the season for us, man. And I'm excited for the games today, and it's gonna be a fun one for sure, for sure.
Frisco Fighters, for anybody watching, are 45-11 all time. Just unbelievable run since they've joined the IFL. Real quick, I'm curious. I mean, obviously, you said you haven't really played defensive back, in any major level of professional or of football until this point. Have you gotten any interest, in any larger outdoor leagues from like the UFL, CFL, NFL as a defensive back now?
I have not. I have not. I know that people are watching though. I know that. And I know if they're trying to see if I can continue and sustain it, I can stay consistent with it. I can have 4 picks in 6 games or whatever, but what you gonna do for the rest of the season? Okay, you gonna give up 10 touchdowns, or you gonna drop picks now? What you gonna do? You gonna get comfortable? And the answer is hell no. I'm not. I got a point to prove. My year last year did not go as it should have went as a receiver. And I plan on proving that Coach Rome, who coached me last year, and I plan on proving everybody who believes in me right. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. Just imagine when I get my technique down and everything that I want to get down, how dangerous I'm going to be. And I believe that. And I got players like TJ harking on me, watching me in practice. When he throws a certain ball a certain way, why I should have gotten there, why I did get there. So I know when that time comes, if it happens, it happens. I'll be very thankful, right? If it doesn't, it doesn't. But if I'm being honest with you, I'm just trying to have a better year than I did last year, man. And I'm having fun. I'm having so much fun. I'm being myself. I'm able to play freely and not play robotically, right? Because when you start playing robotic as a player, you start messing up. And you don't want that. So I'm able to be myself, play free, have my teammates support me, and also stay humble, right? Yeah, I didn't have success last year, but I've had success in my life previous than last year in college and in high school. So I kind of been there before, especially playing football here in Dallas and here in Texas. So I've been there before on one of the highest levels in high school and playing at a great college like Liberty and Abilene Christian and playing against big schools like Virginia and et cetera. But I think it's gonna be fun, man. I'm gonna keep going up a notch every time. Every game I learn something new about myself, a new technique. I knew how to read a defender a better way. So once I piece that together myself, I feel like I'm gonna be dangerous, man. I feel like I'm gonna be dangerous.
Absolutely. Any final questions, big boy Cody?
I just have one more because that kind of sparked a question in me.
Mm-hmm.
You talked a little bit earlier about how you felt like you were on the verge of retiring, and then you switched positions. This is clearly, like, the way that I've seen you talk, this is clearly like ignited a spark in you to, get better defensive back, get better on the secondary. Is retirement still on the horizon, or are you still going to keep at this? I know it's kind of a year by year thing, but Are you feeling yourself? Are you wanting to do more and more through the defensive back position to reach that next level, or are you just trying to take it a game at a time?
I haven't had I used to say this in the beginning in the summer. This is my revenge tour, right? And I stood firm on that, stood 10 toes on that. This is my revenge tour to see for the coaches that did not believe in me last year, to see for the players that didn't believe in me last year, all the people that didn't believe in me last year, just because that I wasn't used properly the right way. I wasn't given in a way opportunity to show what I can do. I wasn't believed in enough, which made my confidence deter all the way down. So maybe that's the reason why I almost wanted to retire, right? Not just because I love what I do now, but also because I didn't have that, I wasn't able to be myself like I am this year. Like I said, once again, that's what made Coach Cole a great coach. But honestly, man, this is my revenge tour, and I mean that. I mean that. And that's what fuels me. You know what I'm saying? That's what fuels me. Be better than I was last year. And like I said before, if you can hint at that, I'm just trying to have a better season than I did last year. You know what I'm saying? And for me to be 27 now and to see I got this much of ball left in me, which I knew I did, that's the main thing when people retire and things like that. I knew I was going to do it prematurely. I still got so many more years of ball left in me. I still love the game. The game gave me so much. It helped me meet so many people, connections, helped me travel around the country, right? Helped me make a little bit of money and things of that sort, and do things for my family and stuff like that and have fun and things like that. And that I'm obviously so thankful for that. And obviously my goal was to make it to the NFL, right? As a kid growing up. I know now that I don't have to use that. I use sports to be successful and to make that amount of money to do that things for my family now, because I know I have a different mind shift, a different perspective on things in life. But I do know that if given the opportunity, I'll say this: if given the opportunity to have a great end of my season, right? Let's say I don't know. Let's say if I have 10 picks and 5 kick returns and I still almost stay like touchdown free, like nobody has really scored on me in like one-on-one in a way. If opportunity calls and I got like 3 to 4 months to train, right, every day, I'm going to most definitely entertain it. I have more years in me. I know that for a fact. It's only my second year. My body still feels great, which is thankful, man. Like I feel like it's just the first day of camp or something like that. Honestly, I don't know if it was just my preparation off season, working out a lot. I was training, but I just wasn't doing any DB work, but just working out a lot, building muscle, building mass. I don't know if that's the reason why that has helped me doing more yoga. But I know I have many more years left in me. But hey, it ain't like, if teams offer me a contract at the end of the season from everywhere and they want me to come play, sadly in this sport and in sports, you can't say, oh, I want to go here unless you have a plethora of teams coming to get you. But I will be interested in playing next year 100% if it's just the right team and situation, things of that sort. So, yes, sir. It's a great question.
Definitely. Lionel, I hope you do get the opportunity to go back outdoors and get the interest from the CFL teams, UFL teams. Before we get out of here, is there anything you want to say to any potential coaches, scouts that may be taking a look at you now?
That this has always been in me. I've always been a playmaker. If I get all it takes is that one coach just to give me a chance, believe in me, and you will be pretty happy with what you get. 100%. You'll be pretty happy with the player that you get. And yeah, man, that's it, man. Y'all stay tuned and on the road to Vegas. And I appreciate you having me on here, man. I loved it. Thank y'all for the great questions and everything like that. Time to get ready for this game. Yes, sir.
Definitely. Well, best of luck today, man, and thank you for joining us. I know it's really early, and look forward to watching you again tonight. Hopefully, we can see you get another pick six.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Have a great night.
All right, yes, sir. You too.
All right. Once again, that was Lionel McConnell, defensive back / wide receiver for the Frisco Fighters. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me. Any final thoughts from either of you guys about this weekend? I mean, we saw 2 great games last night. We didn't really get a chance to touch on those. We were kind of focused on Frisco, obviously. So any thoughts? Let's go to Big Boy first.
All right. So, yeah, last night, oh, my goodness, there were 2 great games last night, man. The Sioux Falls Quad City game, that was great. I didn't catch the end of the the Vegas game. I fell asleep before that, but I know it was 68-64, man. Whew. The indoor war, man, 50-yard fight. That's what I love to see. Can't wait for the day. Again, my fighters going up against Jacksonville at 1 o'clock. There's a game at 3 o'clock, and then, of course, tonight. So it's going to be one hell of a night to watch the Indoor Football League. I cannot wait. Lots of interesting matchups,
Absolutely. Completely agree. Cody, any final thoughts for you? Oh, wait, hold on real quick. Big boy, what do you have coming up next on your channel?
Oh, what do I have coming up next? Oh, yeah. Later today, I don't know when today. Gotta get it. Probably gonna get it up before the first round of the NCAA D1 Men's Lacrosse Championship start. So that's gonna start at 11. But before that, gotta talk about Caitlin Clark, WNBA, NBA Draft Lottery. That's gonna be today, and then I don't know what the rest of the weekend's gonna look like. There's a game that obviously got canceled because of Oklahoma. And then, AFL 3.0 has moved games around and everything like that. So we'll see. We'll see about, Monday night this week in indoor football. But that's pretty much it for me for the next couple weeks. I did have an interview last Monday as well with my boy that I knew from back in the day in Pittsburgh. Mr. Red Shields, he's on Wichita. So if y'all ain't watched that yet, go ahead and watch that. It's only about 15 minutes or so. I know Wichita didn't get to play Monday night because of the storms and everything like that. But hopefully they get to play this week. And yeah, not much else to say on content front. I'm just glad to be here with y'all today. I just really am. I know I didn't have the greatest amount of questions or anything like that. I'm just glad to be here.
You're good, man. Don't even worry about it. This is what isn't entirely intended to be interview setting, but I did want to kind of bring on some guests that have some insight to these leagues. But thank you once again for joining us, and I look forward to you coming back on again. But Cody, how about you, man? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, last night's game. Well, first of all, the weather here in Kansas has been insane. So it was a good call that they postponed that game between Wichita and I believe Salina. But as for the game last night, Vegas had a little home cooking. There were some calls I disagreed with there at the very end, but hey, Vegas stays undefeated. Quad City with an amazing number one play on SportsCenter. So I believe that's 4 plays for the Indoor Football League now that are top plays. It was a good game for Quad City, a nice little rebound, and nice to see Mike Irwin take over the reins, and Lorenzo Brown just having to come back to Sioux Falls and try and provide that spark again. There are some question marks for Sioux Falls right now. A little bit of concern for that team. San Diego, it's special teams for them. They returned to kickoff, and I'm not calling anyone out, but the drop kicks, 2-point conversions, if they just would have kicked extra points, they might have won that game. I'm not sure. We don't know. But those games are fun. I'm looking forward. Packed slate this weekend, today. 6 games on the docket. Really looking forward to just melting into my couch and watching indoor football, really.
Sounds like a great way to spend a Saturday to me. Personally, also got to mix in some of those UFL games that are coming up as well. And then actually, if you're a fan of overseas football, there's actually a game going on right now with the Danube Dragons. And I did not catch the team they were playing, but Madre London, former USFL running back, is playing for the Danube Dragons this season. So definitely check that out as well. Later on tonight, if you're a fan of the UFL, come right back here to Shady Sports Network, and we will be talking some UFL. We'll have a couple guest hosts, and then we'll be discussing Saturday's games and looking forward to Sunday's games. And then always, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to Big Boy Sports and In the Alley on YouTube to catch all their latest content. And then also, if you are not already subscribed to Shady Sports Network on YouTube, do that as well. We are chasing 1,500 subscribers. We're at like 1,315 now. So every subscriber counts. So definitely pop back over, subscribe to all these channels, and we will catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll leave you with this one for a change.